At least I fooled one of you.
Will we get to see more vampire mysteries? Maybe a return to Mystic Falls. Julie Plec, who helped create the popular supernatural teen show, The Vampire Diaries, is thinking about telling more stories in its universe. Do we have a positive news? The Vampire Diaries started as a young adult book adaptation, but quickly became a huge hit. It aired from 2009 to 2017, with 171 episodes, and made stars out of Nina Dobrev, Paul Wesley, and Ian Somerhalder. The show was so successful that it led to 2 spin-offs, The Originals and Legacies. Julie Plec, one of the creators of The Vampire Diaries, recently shared her excitement about adding more stories to the show's universe. She didn't give many details, but she mentioned that the original TVD books could inspire these new stories. In 2022, the Vampire Diaries universe faced a setback when the second spin-off, Legacies, was cancelled. This happened because the CW, the network that aired the shows, changed ownership and shifted its focus away from dramas for younger audiences. Indeed, fans received the best wrap-up they could have hoped for, given the circumstances. The series Legacies concluded many storylines and ended with the sense that, if it were to return, it would be very different. Plec previously indicated that the franchise wouldn't end for long. Before Legacies was cancelled, they were discussing a 4th show in the series. She mentioned that they were quietly talking about another spin-off in their writer's room. They had an idea and were loosely preparing for it. The studio was aware that they were pitching an idea, but the network hadn't heard anything about it yet. Julie Plec mentioned that although they didn't know the specifics, they did have an idea for a new show. Brett Matthews, Kevin Williamson, and she were ready to start once they found the time. However, the cancellation of Legacies paused those plans for now. They hadn't pitched the idea to anyone except Brett's spouse, and it wasn't developed enough to share. Despite Plec now working under an overall deal at Universal, her contract allows her to work on other projects. Despite this, Plec remains hopeful and wants to see The Vampire Diaries make a comeback. TV shows often come back as reboots, revivals, or spin-offs, so there's a chance The Vampire Diaries could return. Fans are curious about who will be in it, what the story will be, and where it will air. The series created a rich world full of history and supernatural creatures. Over 8 seasons, it introduced werewolves, witches, and more. The show was so popular it led to 2 spin-offs, The Originals, about the first family of vampires, and Legacies, focusing on the next generation in Mystic Falls. With the show's renewed popularity, this might be the perfect time for a new spin-off, or even a prequel with beloved characters from the original series. Another idea could be a reboot that explores the darker side of the supernatural world. If The Vampire Diaries returns as a reboot or spin-off, it wouldn't be the first show to come back thanks to streaming services. The success of shows on streaming platforms is different from traditional TV, making many old shows popular again. The Vampire Diaries could be one of them, following the trend of many other revived series. A star from The Vampire Diaries said he would be open to returning to the show, but only if it focuses on Brothers Bond Bourbon, the brand he owns with his former co-star Ian Somerhalder. If Brothers Bond is one of the main sponsors, maybe I'd consider a guest appearance. He playfully added, "You heard it here, folks, at the charity event, which raised $2 million for young people facing illness, financial challenges, and grief." While a reboot of The Vampire Diaries might not happen soon, Paul cherishes the friends he made on the show, including Ian and Nina Dobrev. "I talk to Ian every day," he said. "I try to talk to Nina as much as I can. We talk all the time though." Believe it or not, the CW initially wanted Ashley Simpson, Jessica Simpson's younger sister, to star in The Vampire Diaries. But after discovering Nina Dobrev, they cast Ashley in their Melrose Place revival instead. Rumor has it that Ashley Tisdale, fresh off High School Musical, was also offered the role of Elena. However, she turned it down to star in Hellcats, a show that only lasted one season on the CW. But during her first audition, Nina, who was known for her role on Degrassi, didn't impress the showrunners. When Nina was announced as Elena, fans of the original book series were upset because she didn't have Elena's blonde hair and blue eyes. After finding their leading lady, TVD needed the two male leads for the love triangle. This wasn't easy. Paul and Ian came in later in the process. Paul auditioned like 15 times and Ian kind of showed up out of nowhere. Nina remembered Paul standing out during chemistry reads. The only one who wasn't trying too hard that didn't talk to her off camera was Paul Wesley. So for her, it was funny to think he did the right thing. Before Ian got the role of Damon, he actually wanted to be on HBO's True Blood, auditioning for the part of Jason Stackhouse. Ian later shared on Watch What Happens Live that another actor tried to mess with him during auditions. When asked if people would know who his competition was, Ian said, "You might know, I honestly don't remember his name." As the series premiered on September 10th, news came out that Nina and some of her co-stars, along with photographer Tyler Shields, got in trouble with the law in Georgia. They were accused of distracting drivers during a photo shoot on a freeway. After paying a fine and being cooperative, they were released by the Monroe County Sheriff's Department. Love was in the air on the set of the Vampire Diaries during its 8 seasons. Paul dated Phoebe Tonkin, who guest starred on the show and later starred in the originals, after he split from his wife, Tori DeVito, who played Meredith Fell in Season 3. Candace and Zach were together for 2 years after she briefly dated Steven. Joseph Morgan and Persia White found love on set when they joined the show in Season 3. They got married in July 2014, and then, of course, there's the biggest real-life TVD relationship. Delena fans were excited when they found out the co-stars were dating in real life. They broke up in 2013 after being together for 3 years, just when Damon and Elena were finally getting together on the show. But they showed there were no hard feelings when they joked about their breakup while accepting the 2014 People's Choice Award for Best Chemistry. Even though they played a beloved couple on TV, Nina and Paul didn't get along during the first 5 months of filming the show's first season. Nina revealed, Nina respected Paul Wesley, but she didn't like him. She appeared on the Directionally Challenged podcast in 2019. Do you have any ideas for the spin-off? Let us know in the comments below. Also, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button.